The Georgia Capitol Police blame, quote, miscommunication for not finding out for months about a man who managed to bring a gun past private security in a key government building.
It turns out that man had already been arrested multiple times in Metro Atlanta for impersonating a police officer. Well, Fox 5 I-Team reporter Randy Travis joins us with more about this security breakdown.
And you have some frightening pictures of what happened, Randy.
That's right, Russ and Sinead. We've already reported on the guy who got this gun into a secure area of the Sloppy Floyd building in downtown Atlanta. He eventually pled guilty to lesser charges and is currently on probation. But we can find no evidence the private security company suffered any punishment for failing to do its job.
The Sloppy Floyd building across the street from the Capitol houses important state offices like Pardons and Paroles, the Insurance Commission, and the Secretary of State. You're allowed to bring a gun into the lobby, just not past these security checkpoints leading to those sensitive government agencies. Yet last fall, this man did just that.
You have a guy that comes in and he's dressed the part, he's got the equipment, and he basically talked his way through.
House Chairman of Public Safety Alan Powell didn't even know about the security breach until the Fox 5 I-Team told him.
We come here to make you uncomfortable.
But long before it happened, local law enforcement was well aware of this man. He calls himself Sir Maejor Page, leader of Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta, a group that broke off from the original Black Lives Matter organization here in Georgia.
I come over here and I watch what's going on and I hold these cops accountable.
But in the last year, authorities would arrest Page multiple times for impersonating a police officer. One of those came while Page took it upon himself to direct bus traffic at a downtown MARTA stop, then demanding to know who was in this car.
Sir, would you roll your window down? I would like to identify you.
He found out who he was. The man was an Atlanta cop. That would become the third time Page would be arrested for impersonating a police officer before he walked into the Sloppy Floyd building with a gun. According to a report from the private company Dynamic Security, Page refused to show ID to their staff, claiming he was with the FBI and they were hindering an investigation. Somehow a Dynamic Security supervisor let him through. This is a surveillance picture from inside the Secretary of State's corporate records office showing an armed Page waiting in line.
And get this, not only did Dynamic allow Page to get past security with the gun, they also allowed him to leave without questioning him any further. In fact, Capitol Police say they were not made aware of the security breach until January of this year, nearly 4 months after it happened.
Within days, Capitol Police obtained warrants against Page, arresting him at this public demonstration in DeKalb County. They would eventually recover his .45 caliber Glock, taser, handcuffs, and other law enforcement type gear. This summer, Page pled guilty to misdemeanor obstruction and was placed on 2 years probation with no guns. Page and his attorney declined comment to the Fox 5 I-Team about the security breakdown.
That's ridiculous that it ever happened. I mean, I just can't believe it myself.
Jerry Henry of GeorgiaCarry.org supports being able to take guns into all parts of government buildings as another layer of protection. But if you're going to restrict weapons, he says make sure the security checkpoints are run by competent people.
That's no security. That is pretend security.
What kind of security do we have, though, if all it takes to get a gun into a government building is to say you're an FBI agent?
Well, that's exactly right.
You comfortable that people in the Twin Towers are safe when they go to work now?
Sure, I am as safe as they can be. If I had to take a guess, I'd say that probably they might be more secure now than they ever were.
Dynamic Security did not return repeated calls for comment. The Department of Public Safety says it has received no other formal complaints about the company's performance.
And they're still working here. That's a crime in itself as far as I'm concerned. They should have been booted out the day they found out about it.
Now, again, we left multiple messages for Dynamic at their Georgia office and at the Sloppy Floyd building, but got no response. And Page's attorney wanted me to stress that even though his client did plead guilty to obstruction, misdemeanor obstruction, that the impersonating a police officer charges were dismissed, so he didn't plead guilty to those.
Okay, so with this Dynamic Security company, we haven't heard from them. Do we know at this point if they're making any adjustments to ensure that something like this doesn't happen again?
Well, I'm told that they are just supposed to follow the rules, and the rules are that if someone shows up at your location and says that they're with the FBI, but they don't show any ID and they want to get by with a gun, you're supposed to call the Capitol Police to check on them, not call one of your supervisors, who then, for some strange reason, lets them go on through.
Yeah.
So if they follow policy, if they follow the rules, hopefully people will be secure there.
Yeah, I mean, Page was a harmless pretender, but he could have shot the place up.
You don't know who would have been able to get in
Right.
if this particular type of breakdown continued.
That's the scary part. All right, Randy, thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, Randy.